7-Up story. Okay. That's 2 nights in a row. I guess I don't have a choice. I guess. All right. That'll be one question then. So this was in about July 1973. And Prabhupada's traveling from India to New York City. On the airplane, of course, a big plane. Prabhupada always sitting at the window seat. I'm next to him. And a few hours after the flight, the stewardess is rolling the cart. And on the cart are just plastic cups filled with, some had water, some had 7-Up, and some had Coca-Cola. So she's going down with the cart. And of course, she stops in front of us. And Prabhupada, very observant, and he's looking, what is that? And she's offering drink. I said, well, Prabhupada's 7-Up. And he goes, okay. He says, okay to me. He doesn't talk to the stewardess. And one thing I always noticed with Prabhupada when he traveled, everything went through the via media, his translator, the person that understood. So he didn't talk to the ladies in that way. So he would just tell me, yes, okay. So then, of course, I say 3 7-Ups, because whatever Prabhupada does, none of us, we never took anything from outside. No juices, no sodas, no breads. Oh, everything was all Maya. But he have 7-Up. So I put the table down for Prabhupada. We all have our tables down, and there's this clear plastic cup with the 7-Up and a few ice cubes, and you can literally see the bubbles bursting and it going up. And so we're all just watching Prabhupada in amazement. He's about to drink a soda. And he grabs it. And when he grabs his, we do the same thing. You don't drink before but as soon as he drinks, it's Mahaprasadam, everything Mahaprasadam. So he grabs and he said, this is very good. He looks at me, this is very good. And we're just watching him. It's just an ecstasy. He keeps taking a sip and the bubbles are hitting his nose. And he said, very nice, very refreshing. It was like a 7-Up commercial he was doing on the plane. So we finished our cups of 7-Up. So then 3-4 hours later on the airplane, now they're, going down with the cart. Now they have the cans, the whole cans and everything. They're coming down and stops in front of us. Would you like something to drink? Prabhupada looks at me, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, he said. So I said, we'll all have 7-Ups. So now we each have a can of 7-Up, and we have the glass, empty glass, and I open the thing and pour it in. And Prabhupada grabs the can. He starts looking at it, and he goes, carbonated water, sugar, lemon, lime. He says, it's all natural. He said, it's very good. And again, he's drinking his 7-Up and enjoying his 7-Up. And of course, this is the first soda I had since I went into a temple, so it was very wonderful. So then we get to New York City, Brooklyn, Henry Street Temple. It was 1973, and it's July, very hot, humid, kind of like this time of year here. Even hotter it was. Prabhupada has a whole flat, whole apartment right across from the temple room. So we get there and bring everything into Prabhupada's room. Kirti Raj comes up to me, says, does Prabhupada need anything? And for the first time, usually when they would say, does Prabhupada need anything? I could never think of anything he needed. He didn't. He was completely happy all the time. I couldn't think of anything, but now I guess I have my own interest. So when he said, does Prabhupada need anything? I said, oh yeah, you can get 7-Up. And he looked at me, he said, 7-Up? I said, yeah, just buy a 6-pack of 7-Up. So then he got a 6-pack of 7-Up. And there was a little fridge in the kitchen, little kitchenette area, and that tiny fridge. So I literally put it in the refrigerator so nobody would see 7-Up was in the refrigerator. But I didn't know what to do, how to approach Prabhupada, see if he wanted one. So then one evening came. Prabhupada's in his sitting room, and he's speaking to one of his temple presidents from a different area, from Florida. And I'm in the kitchen, and this devotee comes out of Prabhupada's room. It's about 8 o'clock at night. And he comes to me. He said, Prabhupada needs water. And he's standing there. He said, give me his glass with water. And I said, no, that's my service. I'm servant. So he went back into the room. So then I had opened the can of 7-Up, and I pour it into his goblet, and I have it on the tray. And I'm coming, and I come to the door. The door's closed. Prabhupada never had his door closed. He said, we have no secrets, he would say. We have no secrets. Imagine to be on that level, no secrets. But that's what he wanted. So I get to Prabhupada's door, and again, the devotee opens the door, and he's trying to grab the tray from me. Now I know I can't just give him the tray, I said, I got it. And he's like, He was older than me, much more advanced. So I go into the room, put it on the table, I offer a basin, says, Prabhupada's looking. He says, what is that? I said, oh, it's 7-Up, Prabhupada. He said, oh, okay. And he's sitting there, and he grabs the cup, and this devotee, he can't believe it. Prabhupada's got a 7-Up in his, and he says, very refreshing. And then Prabhupada gets up, and he's standing up, and he grabs the cup, and he just stands there for the next few minutes drinking his 7-Up. And we're just sitting there, and I'm just very, very happy. And then he finished it. So I took it. I said, would you like any more, Prabhupada? He said, no, that's enough. So then I left the room. So then the next morning comes, after class, after breakfast, while we're down the GBC, we were looking for a new temple. It was already, they had outgrown Brooklyn, Henry Street Temple, so they're looking for a new temple. And he said, Prabhupada, I want you to see this place we could possibly buy as a temple. And Prabhupada said, yes. So we went, it was 1970, it was this little Japanese car, very small, Kirti Raj, driver, Srila Prabhupada and I in the back seats. No air conditioning, and it's hot. And he drove into Manhattan. And he pulls across the street from this beautiful cathedral, Catholic cathedral built back in, the 1880s or something. This huge place, church. And he parks across the street from it. And we all get out and we're on the sidewalk. And Prabhupada's ready to go in. And Bali said, oh, Prabhupada, no, they don't know. We're devotees, he said, in the process of buying, so we don't. He said, but I wanted you to see it. And Prabhupada could see through the front doors of the church. If you've ever seen churches in America, very big, like this size, even bigger sometimes, all the pews, seats. And Prabhupada could look into there, and he said, we'll call this Gauranga Hall. So Prabhupada was ready. And then that was it. So we're standing on this little street corner, and Prabhupada looks, and there was a corner store. They have in New York, they have all these little grocery stores all over the place, every few blocks they had back then. So Prabhupada sees, of course he knows New York, he lived there, he knew everything there, he sees the store. And he looks at me. He said, do they have 7:00? I said, yes, Prabhupada. So I said, Kirti Raj. I said, Prabhupada wants a 7-Up. Huh? I said, Prabhupada wants to buy a 7-Up. And we're standing outside. It's like 11 in the morning. Prabhupada in his beautiful saffron, he's got his cane. So he goes in the store. He comes with 1 can of 7-Up. Not 3 cans, 4 cans, 1 can for Prabhupada. we were also trained like that, not to waste money, not even 20 cents. So he comes out with the one can, and I take it, I open it up, and I hand it to Prabhupada. And he's standing there on this corner, and he gets the 7-Up in the can, and he's... He drinks about half the can, and then we all get into the car. And Kirti Raj, the driver in the front, Prabhupada and I in the back. And Prabhupada still has the can. And he hands it to me. And as soon as he hands it to me, 4 hands are going into the back seat. We're all fighting for what is ever left of Prabhupada's soda. So we shared it. So that was New York. Then from New York, Prabhupada flew to Los Angeles a few days later. As soon as he got to Los Angeles, he goes into his room. Karundar, a big GBC devotee in LA. Srila Prabhupada, all the grahastas, they all have 7-Up in their refrigerators. Everyone knew. We didn't need internet. We didn't need anything. We knew, not even by phone, I don't know, but whatever happened, everybody knew within a few hours in ISKCON what's going on, and what Prabhupada said, what Prabhupada did. So he's saying they're all drinking 7-Up because they heard Prabhupada had a 7-Up. And Prabhupada said, oh, he said, that's not good. He said, I take little for digestion sometimes. He said, but it's not good that they should do that, he said. But it became a fashion on the plane. Just like when we would take the prasadam sometime. When you were on the plane, 7-Up was okay. In fact, on the plane, when they would come down, Prabhupada would say, all the devotees can have 7-Up. So Prabhupada would treat everybody to a 7-Up on the plane. So we always look forward to getting on the plane just to have a 7-Up. So that was over the years. And the last time was 1977. And this is September 1977. So Prabhupada's already been lying in the bed, not eating for months. Just his body was literally skin and bones. But that's when he decided to go to England. He was going to go to London and preach. So the plane went from Delhi to Dubai, and then it would go on to London. So on that plane was Abhiram, Guru Kripa was there. I wasn't there at that time. Actually, I was in Vrindavan, but I didn't get to go on that trip to London. When Prabhupada decided to go to London, I remember Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he was so upset because no one had proper paperwork, visas or what it was to go. And Prabhupada said, that's okay, Sruta-kirti's here, he'll come. You should have seen their faces. The idea that I go, and I felt so happy that Prabhupada just said that. So anyway, they take the flight, and the devotees, they all had 4 seats across, but they literally sat on the floor by the door so Prabhupada could lie down. Had his glasses, the dark glasses on. And so then the plane stops in Dubai, and of course it stops, people are getting off, people are getting on. So Guru Kripa, he went over to Srila Prabhupada and had to help him sit up. And Guru Kripa was so, well, everyone, we were horrified what was going on. And Guru Kripa said, and looked at Prabhupada, and he could see, and it's like, jewels coming out of his mouth, and had no strength. And he felt so bad. He looked at Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada, can I do anything? Can I get you anything? And Prabhupada smiled. He said, you can get me a 7-Up. You never understand the pure devotee, huh? Prabhupada was already, Abhiram tells some amazing stories in those days about Srila Prabhupada. But anyway, I guess we need to stop here. Maybe tomorrow we can continue. Tomorrow's a very big day here. I'm very, very happy Radhanath Maharaj has come today. And I think you give class tomorrow morning. I think if we're that fortunate, we'll hear tomorrow morning. So Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.